Good morning. I'm Kemi Omololu-Olunloyo, a Nigerian journalist, pharmacist, and PR specialist. I'm also an activist. And it's June 25th, 2019, 1:29 a.m. local time, which is early hours of Tuesday, the 25th of June, 2019. 10 years ago today, something devastating happened to me and to the rest of the world. We will never forget that day. When that phone call came to me, I believe it was around noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I was working at a pharmacy in Canada, and I was on duty with a lot of customers waiting for their medicine, and everything had to stop because of that one phone call that came from New York. CNN's Randy Kay called me at the pharmacy. I was sort of like a contributor and health reporter at CNN. I was also a pharmacist at Loblaw Pharmacy, one of the largest drugstores in Canada. Randy told me that Michael Jackson died. And she wanted to know what Demerol was used for. And I was just like devastated. The whole world shut down. June 25th, 2009, Michael Jackson was preparing for his touring comeback, and he had just died. The practice for the tour was exhausting. He was being seen by this doctor, and we couldn't explain what happened, but they said a drug killed him. So now I told Randy, I said, Demerol is a pain medication. It's used for certain kind of pains, and it's quite safe. It's not a drug you'll overdose from. I even told her it was used in labor and delivery. Primarily, when women are giving birth, they use it as a form of epidural. It's the painkiller they use because it doesn't cause respiratory depression in the newborn. So why would that kill Michael Jackson? After that phone call, I remember Anderson Cooper of CNN had a show that evening, and they also had me in via phone. And I spoke as a pharmacist and as a music reporter because at the time, I was also the owner of the most popular music blog in Canada, Hip Hop Sip. So the story came to me in two different sections, a music journalist and a pharmacist. We were all shocked. And towards the investigation as it started, they now found out that Michael had propofol inside his system, and that doctor had given him. The doctor was criminally charged. Everybody knows how that ended, but Michael never came back. The funeral was so sad. I covered it. I traveled to California and took a lot of pictures, many pictures. I can't post them all today, but in a collage you could see how big this funeral was. Michael's parents were alive and they buried him. Today his father, Joe Jackson, has passed away. And Elizabeth Taylor, one of his friends, mentors, whatever you want to call Liz Taylor, she's also passed away. She was there. I remember Jennifer Hudson was pregnant with her daughter, and Michelle like touching her stomach. All those pictures I'm going to post. The casket, golden. The children spoke. They cried. Oh, no. When I look at that funeral video again, I remember Nipsey Hussle's funeral, how the children spoke. The world lost Michael Jackson. If you were on Twitter in 2009, most of you were not on Twitter. You're too young to remember. We had the Twitter whale. When Twitter was overwhelmed and something took the news and trended, it crashed. That's what happened in those days. 2009, we had the Twitter whale. So when you went to Twitter to see the latest on the news and you saw that big fat whale, that means something has happened and it crashed. And I remember somebody making the Twitter whale Michael Jackson's face. Everything crashed that day. Twitter crashed, news, CNN, everybody had it. It was the saddest day in music history. The king of pop was gone. They took his body into the ambulance and they drove it away. We saw some of it. It was just too bad and devastating. The lesson we learned here is that Michael was on a lot of drugs, prescription drugs, drugs to help him pep up, drugs to give him strength for the concert. Propofol was a drug that kept him up. Some said it made him sleep a lot for days. It was mixed in an IV with other drugs. And the combination of propofol and some other drugs in that IV line was so dangerous. So dangerous that we questioned why that doctor did that. Unfortunately, I can't say anymore. We miss Michael Jackson. His producer and the biggest producer ever in American history, Quincy Jones, is still alive, old now, on a wheelchair. Quincy can produce music. Remember Beat It? Just Beat It. Oh my God, all the good songs. Thriller. We miss Michael Jackson. June 25th, 2009, 10 years ago, the king of pop left us. Even in death, he's selling like hotcakes, records, hits, and then, of course, the dark side. Michael is accused of molesting boys. Was that ever proven? He settled a lot of cases, especially the case of the boy whose father committed suicide. And then a new documentary and more accusations and some other victims who are now grown. Sad. But at the end of the day, what's happened has happened. Michael's been gone for 10 years. May his soul rest in peace. I'm Kemi Amalulu. I was a music journalist for at least 13 years out of my 25 years in journalism. And as a journalist, I journal things. That's what we do. I remember dates right offhand. Dates, times, whatever. And I remember this day 10 years ago. Most parts of the world is not even June 25th yet, America especially. So when I put this out now, a lot of people remember. R.I.P. Michael Jackson, Kemi Amalulu at 2 a.m. Nigeria.